It is a place for a massive alien base. This is where aliens go at. We know of the one of the former military officers, Byrd, who fought a conflict near Antarctica and lost a lot of men, claiming that there were flying discs, flying saucers coming out of the Antarctica.
Hello and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're venturing to the Arctic tundra as we discuss the top 10 Antarctic urban legends. To be honest, we can talk about Antarctica like it's a far off distant place, but to be honest with you, it looks like Antarctica outside my window in Toronto right now. Who needs to go there when it's literally here? Stop the snow. I'm pleading with you, snow. Stop. The land of Antarctica was mostly ice 34 million years ago and has been totally lost under ice for 15 million years. What is hiding under the ice has been the cause of many topics of debate, and the mysteries behind it have generated so many urban legends, so I'm actually very excited about this video. But before we get started, I want to hear from you guys. Would you venture to Antarctica? Would you? Let me know. Would you stick a flag in the ice like other people do? If so, what flag would you stick in? Let me know in the comments section down below. And yes, maybe this is one of my weirder questions, but whatever. Also, while you're down there, why don't you like this video and share it with a friend? And why don't you check out the links in our description box to our most amazing Instagram. Also, do stick around to the end of the video where I'm going to be reading a couple of replies to some of your previous comments. Okay, Antarctica, what you got? Coming in at number 10, we have the legend of the angels. This is an ancient urban legend that has fueled a modern day one. Also, I want to say that Angels in Antarctica is a great name for a band. So basically, in the book of Enoch, it says that angels, but not good ones, bad ones who wanted to breed with humans, were banished and trapped. Shock, drama. A lot of people have interpreted this to be in Antarctica. Now, this old theory keeps on resurfacing. In March 2017, Israeli News Live published an article called "The Fallen Angels Living in Antarctica Are Still Alive," but like, are they? Coming in at number 9, we have "The Ice is Alive." The ice is alive with the sound of singing. Any excuse, I swear. Some people think that Antarctica is a pure beast unto itself. It's a weather demon. The ice is sentient, they believe it, and it can choose when to mess with you. Around 1,000 people have died in Antarctica in the past 200 years as a result of serious disaster, but a further 20 or so explorers have died on the ice. Now, this includes Henry Wolseley, ERNEST Shackleton, and Andreas Beck. Expeditionists are prepared for the worst, but sometimes the elements turn. This has led to many suggesting that the ice is alive, something that seems backed up by the continent's mysterious singing ice. Don't believe me? Have a listen. Coming into number 8, we have the spirits of Flight 901. On the 28th of November 1979, Air New Zealand Flight 901 crashed into Mount Erebus on Ross Island in Antarctica. This killed 237 passengers and 20 crew, and was honestly a really massive disaster, especially for New Zealand. The flight was a tourist flight in which passengers would get a chance to see Antarctica from the plane, which sounds pretty cool. Unfortunately, the weather turned and the pilot was inexperienced and got disorientated in the whiteout. He crashed into the mountain. Unfortunately, there were no survivors. Now, some of the bodies were stored at the McMurdo station on Ross Island before being flown back to New Zealand. Not all of the bodies were found either. Many people think that the McMurdo station is haunted, and those who have visited have reported a wrong feeling and perhaps a feeling of being watched. Maybe it's the ghostly presence of victims of the plane crash. Some people link the tragedy of the Air New Zealand flight to the no-fly zone, an urban legend of the ice wall. That's coming in at number 7. Literal troll lol 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 lol. Good old flat earthers. Time and time again, they just keep on coming back into these lists. Has anyone seen mine and Charlotte Dobray's interview with flat earther Mad Mike Hughes, by the way? It's on Inform Overload and is seriously worth a watch. It's going to be in the forthcoming Rocket Man movie. I wish that I'd asked him about the ice wall. Honestly, I really wish so. Basically, the Flat Earth Society believes that there is a huge 150-foot ice wall surrounding the coast of Antarctica. What is on the other side of the wall? Well, they haven't been, so they can't tell you. No one has been. Apparently, they say that the world airlines are in cahoots and have signed a pact agreeing never to fly there. In total fairness, the explorer James Clark Ross, the British expeditionist who went to Antarctica in the mid-1800s, did actually write about an icy wall in his travel notes. He said, I quote, "It was an obstruction of such character as to leave no doubt in my mind as to our future proceedings, for we might as well sail through the cliffs of Dover as to penetrate such a mass." Although, of course, many historians and those who have actually read the full extent of his journals will know that he is talking about an ice shelf, the Ross Ice Shelf that was named after him. This shelf is not 150 meters tall, it is just 50 meters and you can fly over it. Yes, the Air New Zealand flight did crash in Antarctica, but plenty of previously scheduled flights have flown over and back prior to the crash. Really, this is just a legend for the conspiracists. Coming into number 6, we have John Kerry and the Antarctica Energy Beam. John Kerry was the 68th United States Secretary of State under Barack Obama. For those that aren't aware, this job is all about foreign policy. Now in 2016, John Kerry visited Antarctica, and the reason for the trip has been somewhat shrouded in mystery. Good old InfoWars thinks it has something to do with aliens. Others say that Barack Obama has a secret base there. Alex Jones of InfoWars claimed on Twitter that Kerry had split a hurricane up using an energy beam. Weird. Some people also draw some strange conclusions from the fact that Kerry went from Antarctica to New Zealand and was followed by an earthquake. Coming into number 5, we have the Ghost of Blood Falls. Ah, the Ghosts of Blood Falls. It sounds pretty grim, right? Blood Falls comes up a lot when we talk about Antarctica. It's one of the most visually dramatic places on Earth. Blood Falls is actually an area of the Taylor Glacier, which is named after Australian explorer Griffith Taylor, who discovered the macabre site in 1911. Now, the waterfall is a result of the Antarctic ice melting, and it looks like a giant bleeding gash in the snow. No wonder legend has it that the falls are haunted by evil spirits. It certainly is one of the most scary places on Earth, simply for its visuals. Although I have to say it isn't actually blood pouring from the glacier, it's an iron oxide tainted flow of salt water. The iron gives the water its bright red colour. Still though, seeing as it's in the snow, it's all red and very dramatic. If you look at it far off, it does look like a giant has been murdered or something, which is probably why people get an eerie feeling in the area. When I say people, few people have actually been there, but you know, a lot of people in blogs online. Coming in at number 4, we have the Nazi tunnels. It seems that Hitler went on a secret mission for oil in Antarctica in 1938, but many people believe that the leader of the Third Reich was constructing secret tunnels in a war bunker. It seems that Germany claimed an area of Antarctica called New Swabia, and the legends range from understandable to simply wild. Some say Hitler survived the war and escaped to South America. Some say he was spotted in Argentina. From there, it was said that he ventured to the very tip of Patagonia and then into his Antarctic bunker to hide away for the rest of his life. Others say he was frozen and hidden there, which is pretty wild. Coming into number 3, we have the ghost of Ernest Shackleton. Sadly, Sir Ernest Henry Shackleton died on his final expedition to Antarctica before he made it to the icy continent. He had previously been during his trans-Antarctic expedition in 1914 to 1917, but sadly the Irish explorer was never to return, except perhaps in the afterlife. It seems that his original hut, which still stands in the Antarctic, is actually haunted by his spirit. Basically, well, so the legend has it anyway. In 1958, explorer Sir Edmund Hillary decided to follow in the steps of the late expeditioner. In his expedition journal, he wrote, "I remember when I first went to Shackleton's hut, and I'm not a person who really sees things very much, but I went inside the door. When I opened the door, it's rather sort of a bare hut inside, but I distinctly saw Shackleton walking towards me and welcoming me, and then he sort of flashed away and he was gone. Spooky." At least he was welcoming though. You gotta love a welcoming ghost. Coming into number 2, we have the lost civilization. Some say that underneath the thick ice of the Antarctic there is a lost civilization. Humans, as we know, came to be around 200,000 years ago, but what if all the information we have right now isn't actually all of the information? Africa and Antarctica separated 160 million years ago, and some say that long ago an ancient civilization existed alongside the dinosaurs, but are now lost to us. Others say that the timeline of these humans could be much more recent, saying that there is crustal displacement, which meant that large parts of Antarctica were ice-free 12,000 years ago. This could have meant that ancient humans lived there. Now, if we know anything from evolution, it's actually far more likely. Greek philosopher Plato mentioned the city of Atlantis, which was inhabited by half humans, half gods, which actually sounds rather a lot like the descriptions of an angel to me, which, hang on for a hot minute, that sounds pretty familiar. Is the lost city of Atlantis buried under the ice, or, once again, is it angels? Finally, coming in at number 1, we have aliens. Aliens, 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 aliens. For anyone who's ever watched me on Inform Overload, that's my Aliens song, and I like singing it. It's long been speculated that there is something shifty going on down in Old Anty. That's my new name for Antarctica. Should have used it sooner, really. In September 2018, Google Earth images seemed to show mysterious structures becoming visible under the melting ice. The structures appear in a settlement around the size of a small town, which may make people think that actually this is a lost city, but there are tracks and what looks like an airstrip. This is merely added fuel to the aliens in Anty theory. Is it aliens? A lot of people think so. So guys, that was the top 10 Antarctica urban legends. Which of these did you think was the scariest? Do you think any of them are true? Let me know in the comments section down below. Also, while you're down there, don't forget to let me know what flag you would stick in the ice. Love hearing it. Do leave a thumbs up and share this video with a friend, but before we go, I'm gonna read some comments from the top 10 scary Valentine's Day cards. I love. Donna Lynn said, Rebecca, you were so extra in this video. I loved it. Do you know what, Donna? I think I'm always a little bit extra. Alicia Wickland gets it. She said, I might send a card to my best friend. I honestly hope you did. It is all about the Galentine's Day. Jennifer said, roses are red, violets are blue. I love most amazing. I hope they love me too. You guys rock. We absolutely love you, Jennifer. You are a most amazing channel member. You've got your angel wings. A big shout out to you. Thank you for everything that you do. And a big shout out to every single one of you watching. We're almost at 5 million and that makes me so excited. I remember joining the channel when we just had 200,000 subscribers, so it's been a big journey. So again, please do like this video, share it with a friend. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!